welcome to this session, Modern Minute Writing, Redefining the Standards. And before we jump in, as we embark on this learning journey, let's outline the key objectives that we would like to achieve during this webinar. Firstly, we aim to understand the evolution of minute writing. We'll delve a bit into the history and where it started and where we are now. We will then look at mastering some of the effective techniques of minute writing. This involves learning about some of the ground principles, the foundation principles of effective minute writing around legal, ethical, and practical considerations. We will then look to embrace digital tools. So look at exploring how modern technology, including AI, has enhanced and can enhance the minute writing process, making it more efficient and accurate. We will then look at some best practices, and we will also be looking at some of the security and compliance measures so that we can safeguard the sensitive information, as all of us know is entailed in minute writing. And then lastly, we will then try and see how we can apply this knowledge to our roles in a practical way. But before we get started, before we dive into today's content, let's go over a few housekeeping rules to ensure the session runs smoothly. So first and foremost, we've muted everyone so that we can keep background noises to a minimum. So I'm going to ask you, please, to use the chat function for participation and engagement. We have members from the Lumerous team who will be monitoring the chat because, as you know, I'm presenting, so sometimes won't be able to see the chat, but they will see the chat and they will respond to you if you have any questions, and they will also highlight some of the key things that I will bring out to me. If you have questions, there's also a question component as part of the chat. So on the left side of the chat button, you will see chat, and then on the other side, you'll see Q&A only. So we'll ask you to put all your Q&As in that sections, because that means I will then be able to distinguish between engagement and chat and Q&A. Please be aware we're recording this webinar for future purposes. Your feedback is incredible to us, so we appreciate if you could take some time out at the end of the webinar to fill out a post-webinar survey. Lastly, if there are any technical issues that arise, do not hesitate to message to drop a message in the chat, and any of the Lumerous team will try and help you with that. With that said, thank you for adhering to these guidelines, and let's have a great webinar. So before we dive into the content, I would just like to give you a quick whistle-stop tour of who we are and why we do what we do. So we're Lumerous, and our bold vision is to help courageous businesses and leaders willing to change the rules and the culture, and willing to change the rules that govern and the culture that influence. You know, we see the future of corporate governance practice as a force for good, and that businesses and their leaders should provide value to employees and customers. And we also know that improving society and increasing value can help to bring about social change and wider inclusivity and equity. We have three main practices: our governance practice, we have our corporate secretarial practice, and we have our ESG practice as well. We also have a social impact initiative called Ivory Foundation, where we work with young people across the UK, the Caribbean, and in some African countries. Our approach is simple. You know, we see our clients as partners. We refer to this as our scuba diver approach. For those of you, I'm a scuba diver, and when you go scuba diving, you dive in pairs. And the reason for that is that one person looks out for the amazing view, while the other one watch out for danger, and then you switch while you're swimming. And in that way, we partner with our clients to make sure that we're always looking out for trends, but then at the same time, we can also jump in and help to solve challenges as they arise. We make sure all our stuff is bespoke. We use data. We empower clients. In other words, we do knowledge transfer, and we also ensure that it's transformative when we work with our clients. These are a list of some of the clients that we work with, a wide array of clients, from financial institutions to technology business to educational institutions, but predominantly most of our clients are either listed companies or regulated or large companies that require our governance, sectorial, and ESG services. If you want to learn more about us, you can all feel free to join our via our website, which is lumros.com. So let's jump into our presentation, the evolution of writing. So let's start with a bit of history. Traditionally, minutes were seen purely as record-keeping tools, a way to document decisions and actions. They follow formal, often verbose style, focusing more on capturing every word rather than the essence of the discussion. But was this the most effective approach? The story begins in ancient civilization, back in Egypt, where the earliest forms of writing were hieroglyphics, were developed around 3000 BC. These scripts, were inscribed on clay tablets and stones, laid the foundation for complex record-keeping systems, and laid the groundwork for the structure of communication and governance as we see it today. Then there came the birth of the shorthand, moving towards, ancient Greece and the Roman Empire. We witnessed the birth of the shorthand, and the Xenophone's application of shorthand to document Socrates' dialogues and was revolutionary. Then we move in Rome when, this was further advanced, making it a vital tool around things to do with legal, business, and legislative documentation. And these developments marked a significant shift in how information was recorded and preserved. We then transitioned into modernity as we progressed to the 15th century with Timothy Bright's caricature in England. And this symbolizes a critical transition. This period saw a move towards more simplified form, and this was also the period of the introduction of alphabets. And this greatly influenced and this was greatly influenced by the invention of the pencil and the fountain pen. This evolution, of course, was critical in making writing more efficient and accessible, setting the stage for modern practices. Then we moved into the more contemporary minute writing. This brings us, to the present day, where the evolution of writing system, influenced by technological advances, shapes the minute writing we know in governance and business today. This transformation is really stark if you think about it. The evolution from ancient scripts on clays to today's shorthand, then to digital minute writing, reflects a significant shift in human and technological advantage. This historical overview of minute writing isn't just about the evolution of writing techniques. It's really a narrative about human progress in communication, human progress in record keeping, and also human progress in the whole notion of what we know today as governance. The journey from ancient script to digital minute writing, shows how us as human are enduring on our quest for efficiency and clarity in communication and documentation. And as we become more advanced and move into this new tech revolution, there's a need for us to transition on this journey. And we'll speak a little bit more about that. One of the things I'd really like us to explore, quickly review some of the base principles of minute writing, which are still going to be needed in this new modern way of minute writing. So the first thing I'd really like us to look at is the whole notion of, the legal and ethical consideration. This is where minute writing transcends beyond mere note keeping, or note taking rather, and become a pivotal role in the governance frameworks of organization. So first, let's look at confidentiality. As minute writers, company secretaries, we are often privy to very sensitive information. It's our duty to safeguard this information. I remember being in a board meeting, and as a company secretary, and every senior exec was asked to leave the board meeting. I was the only person left in there with the rest of the board members, because they were discussing a sensitive topic around senior management remuneration. And after the board meeting, some of the senior managers came up to me and asked me, what was the discussion about? I couldn't tell them, and some of them got upset. But because we have to maintain, as minute takers and company secretary, this level of confidentiality, sometimes we have to refuse to disclose certain information because of that. So it means, we have to be aware of what we can disclose and what should remain confidential. We need and must meet clear guidelines on handling confidential discussion, especially in minutes that are accessible by much wider audience. And, and also when you're talking about taking minutes that will also go to the regulators as well, you have to balance that. Next, we need to look at, the whole notion of transparency. And this is actually, the pillar of ethical minutes: transparency and accuracy. Minutes should accurately reflect what was discussed and decided without any personal bias or misrepresentation from us as minute takers. This is not about being truthful. It's about providing a clear and honest account for all stakeholders involved. Another pivotal component of minute taking is compliance with laws and regulations. So understanding the legal implications is critical. Minutes are legal documents, whether or not you're taking minutes for a regulated entity, a listed entity, or those that are not, or even in a charity, or even in a community organization. They are legal documents, because these documents will be called upon, can be called upon in court or in any form of investigation, and therefore must comply with the various governance standards, regulatory requirements, and legal requirements. And what I must point out, especially for us as minute takers, is that ignorance of the law is not a defense in court, right? As minute takers, we must be well versed with the legal frameworks within which our organization operates, ensuring our minutes meet all necessary regulatory and legal standards. Lastly, let's look at the whole notion of accountability and liability. Let's talk about this for a minute. Minutes play a key role in corporate accountability or in organizational accountability. They can be used as evidence, as I said before, in legal proceedings, making accuracy paramount, right? Inaccurate or misleading minutes can lead to serious legal liabilities. And we have seen many cases of this in the past. Companies like Enron, even here in the UK, the post office scandal, etc., can lead to serious legal liabilities. Therefore, it is essential that we approach minute writing with the seriousness it deserves, understanding its impact on corporate governance, on our organization's reputation, and of course, on the legal standings within the jurisdictions that we operate. Another critical aspect of this training, and an area we see most minute takers struggle with, is balancing detail and brevity, right? This is where the skill of minute writing is truly tested, requiring delicate balance between providing enough information and maintaining conciseness. So the art of summarization is important, right? Summarization, this is an art in the context of minute writing. It's about distilling the essence of the conversation in concise yet comprehensive summaries. This involves, identifying key points, decisions, action points, who made the decisions, who made the points. And this is where I just like to say that, we have a full modern minute writing workshop that we run occasionally, and the next one is coming up in February. And we will explore deeper techniques to hone these skills, ensuring that you capture the heart of the discussion without unnecessary details. In this workshop, we will also, tell you more, and I will also tell you more about this this workshop towards the end of this webinar. And we have a special offer for those of you who have attended this webinar, so watch out for that, right? Another key component around balancing detail and brevity is the whole notion of details versus relevance. This determining what is relevant is a challenge for minute writers, right? And I can tell you this, that, I have years of experience operating as co-secretary and company secretary and writing minutes. This balance, it's about understanding the difference between what I would say crucial details that impact understanding and superfluous information that add no value. And as minute takers, we need to have the skill to know the difference. You're in meetings where you have people that they just speak for speak's sake, without any value, just because they want to show, that they're in the meeting or to bring a point across. And again, in the upcoming workshop, we will discuss strategies to help you decide what is to be included in a comprehensive record and what to leave out to avoid cluttering your minutes, because that's the whole notion of modern minute writing. Another important, what I call pillar of detail and brevity, is the whole notion of action-orienting writing. This is critical these days. Focusing on the actions. Minutes should highlight decisions made, should highlight decisions to be taken, and who is responsible for what. This action-oriented approach is indeed one of the key to effective modern minute writing and redefining the standard. Modern minute writing is about moving away from the trap of verbatim reporting, which often leads to lengthy and effective minutes, to a more targeted and action-focused style of minute taking. And finally, ensuring clarity. Clarity is king. Remember, your minutes is to be read by a diverse audience, so including some who are not present. Your language should be clear, straightforward, and free from too much technical jargon, depending on the industry you're in, to ensure it's accessible to all readers. The goal here is to make your minutes a reliable reference that anyone can understand and act upon. And as mentioned before, we will delve deeper into this in our modern minute writing workshop taking place in February, which I'll tell you more about at the end of the webinar. Another critical skill is the whole notion of capturing the essence. And one of the key components is identifying key points. And this is where it starts. It's about listening actively and discerning the main arguments from peripheral, comments. And this helps to help you to recognize and note down the significant points, ensuring, nothing vital is missing, especially when you're using digital assets, which we'll jump in a bit after this. Documenting the decisions and actions, as I said to you before, you need to accurately record what was decided, the actions to be taken, who is responsible, the deadlines. This part of minute writing is what drives future actions and recall past decisions. And one of the things I must emphasize here is one of the notions of modern minute writing is creating an action log as a separate document that is attached to the minutes. And this is essential. Participants' contribution. It is also important to acknowledge participants' contribution. It doesn't mean recording every comment, but rather capturing the essence of the diverse views and the significant contribution in a balanced way. It's about giving fair representation of the meeting's discussion. It also ensures, you should also ensure that, and this is very key, that you record who made these points, either using initials, full name, or title, depending on how your organization functions. Because especially in regulated entities, they look for challenge, because one of the key components of being on the board is that you have to challenge. And when you do governance training, they will teach you about that. But non-exec directors are being fined. We've had cases here in the UK where people have been fined because when the company fails and they have gone to the regulators and they start looking through the minutes, they are not seeing where directors have challenged decisions by senior leaders. Maintaining objectivity is key. Our goal here is to create an impartial record of the meeting, as said before, and then also creating readable records. Use bullet points, headers, and clear formatting to make the document easy to navigate and understand. This is where most of the evolution of modern minute writing is taking place. And as we jump into the next section, you will see where some of the tools can help with this. So let's spend some time looking at some modern techniques and tools in minute writing. So digital advancement in minute writing, as we step into the digital age, this has revolutionized the way how we record and manage meeting minutes. Let's begin by looking at some of the leading tools transforming minute writing today. Tools such as Otter AI, MinuteMe, OneNote, Board Effect are just some that are offering functionalities that goes well beyond traditional methods. These tools come with features that cater for various needs, from simply recording to note-taking, to comprehensive transcription and summarizing. And the benefits of digital transformation in minute writing is immense. Just imagine being able to collaborate in real time with team members, editing and contributing simultaneously. Cloud storaging that offers easy access and retrieval of minutes from anywhere at any time. Plus the integration of these tools into other business tools, to streamline the entire workflow to make it far more efficient. Digital tools are not just about convenience, they're about efficiency and productivity. AI-driven features provide, things like keyword extraction and summarization, making it easy to highlight important points. And also the interactive and collaborative features of these tools cannot be overemphasized. Live note-taking capabilities enable minute writers to keep up with the fast-paced meeting. Post-meeting feedback and comment functionalities offer a platform for continuous improvement and accuracy as well. One of the key components of the new technology nowadays is real-time minute writing. And in today's fast-pacing meeting environment, especially with company secretaries now having several meetings back to back, you have main board, you have all the committees of that board, sometimes 3, 4, 5 committees, then you have subsidiaries. This is the ability to be able to write minutes in real time, and it's becoming increasingly valuable. We use tools like this in Lumerus because we offer company secretary services, and a big part of that is our minute writing services, where we attend board meetings and other internal meetings for clients globally and take their minutes, and then we have a quick turnaround time. And what real-time minute writing does as well is that it also helps in us capturing the essence of the meeting as it happens, unlike traditional methods where minutes are compiled post-meeting. So this approach changes the game, allowing for immediate documentation of discussions and decisions as they happen. And several tools have emerged to facilitate this practice. As I mentioned some before, things like Otter and Life Notes. And some of these tools we will explore, as I said, in our upcoming workshop, which I'll tell you more about, that can help you effectively and accurately, take these notes in real time, ensuring you keep pace with the meeting flows. One of the advantages of this approach are significant. It provides immediate record, enhanced accuracy, reduce the time for recalls, facilitate instant reviews and clarification during the meeting itself. But of course, real-time writing comes with its challenges, right? And these are some of the challenges that I've experienced, particularly in keeping pace with live discussions. We will discuss strategies to overcome these challenges, in our workshop, to ensure that you can deal with this. But one of the things what I find is the AI keeps transcribing so quickly that sometimes when you just start using it, you're not used to it, but after a while you then catch up the pace, and then you'll be able to kind of keep pace with it. And another fascinating thing that we have started doing, and we've encouraged our clients to do as well, is to integrate multimedia and hyperlinks in minute writing. In this digital era, minutes are no longer confined to just plain text, right? We can now make them more informative, more engaging, more interesting. Multimedia elements like images, videos, and audio clips can significantly enrich minutes. They provide visual and auditory context, making the minutes more than just a document, but more of a comprehensive record. It's crucial, however, to use these elements, what I would say, judiciously, ensuring they, complement and not overshadow the textual information. Hyperlinks, we found, are a game changer in minute writing. By embedding, links to external documents, reports, and previous minutes, even to the action plan that I mentioned before, we provide readers with easier access to additional information. This not only adds depth to the minute, but also make them a hub of information, offering everything a reader might need in one place. The approach can significantly, including hyperlinks in the minutes, can significantly enhance the reader's engagement and understanding as well. Modern minute writing is interactive minutes that are not just read, but they should be an experience, leading to better retention and comprehension of the meeting outcomes. But while the benefits are many, it's important to balance these elements. The goal is really to enhance, not to overwhelm. What we also found that adding, multimedia and hyperlinks increase the accessibility and readability, and this is a priority as well. Multimedia minutes should also be easy to navigate and understand for all stakeholders. Lastly, we must understand that, understand and consider technical aspect like, the file format, the size, the platform compatibility. And then also security is also paramount when using hyperlinks, especially, when linking to sensitive or confidential information. AI, as I said to you before, is one of the main technologies that's driving this, right? It's revolutionizing many spaces, many aspects of professional lives, and minute taking is just one of them. It's transforming the way we approach minute writing. It's introduced in tools and software like Microsoft Copilot, Otter.ai, Evergreen, and numerous others that automate and enhance various aspects of minute writing. AI-driven tools are not just convenience. They're about leveraging technology to improve efficiency and accuracy. And one of the most significant applications of AI in minute writing is the automated transcription services. These tools can transcribe spoken words into written text in real time, greatly reducing the time and effort involved in traditional minute writing process. Beyond transcription, AI tools are capable of summarizing key points from lengthy discussions and analyzing meeting themes, and also building action points. This helps us as minute writers, to focus on the most important aspects of the meeting, ensuring that, critical information is captured effectively. AI also significantly enhanced the accuracy of minute documentation, reducing, the risk of human error. It also lightens the workload of minute writers, allowing you to focus on refining, contextualizing, the minutes rather than trying to capture every word spoken. And the future of AI and governance, the potential is vast. However, it's important to approach this with an understanding of the ethical consideration and the need for accuracy checks. So as AI continues to evolve, it will become an even more integral tool in effective minute writing. I want to kind of pause for a minute and just check to see if we have any Q&As. Anything. I see my team have been answering some of those questions. But during the webinar, I kept talking about our upcoming workshop, right? And I'm hoping that you have found the information so far in this webinar insightful. So, can you just imagine the depth of knowledge and skill you can gain from our workshop on modern minute writing? So let me tell you a little bit about it. It's a 2-session workshop. Each session is 3 hours, and it is 2 consecutive days. We will analyze a real-world case study of a complex board meeting. We will show you how to apply modern techniques and digital tools to enhance accurate and efficient documentation. We will have practical applications and interactive exercises where you will learn to navigate complex scenarios with ease using a lot of these modern tools. And we will also explore some of in depth, some of those foundational pillars for minute writing. So for today, for those of you who are on this webinar, we are offering a special discount. And if you look on the screen, you will see the discount code. And this is for your chance to elevate your minute taking skills to new heights. We have provided a link in the chat for you to be able to book this workshop. On the screen, you will see, as I said, the discount code, and this discount code is valid only for 48 hours, right? So I really implore you, the discount we're offering is a huge discount on the $450 that everybody else will pay. And once you click on the link, you will see the dates and the times for this workshop. So, you know, I implore you guys to jump on board, because modern minute taking is moving into the modern age, and things like artificial intelligence is actually changing significantly the way how minutes are being done and taken. We at Lumos are also creating a new tool, which, you know, you'll hear about in the near future, that will essentially, once we get it right, essentially make the notion of you as a minute taker taking these minutes redundant. You will just need to review and make sure that the tool has captured the essence, removing, you know, stuff that might be overly confidential, and then, you know, get the minutes circulated within the organization to get feedback, and then the minutes will be out. So, you know, instead of taking a whole week to do minutes, you could probably have minutes turn around in 1 to 2 days. And that is something that we currently do right now when we use these tools at Lumos. So jump on right ahead and, you know, jump into this webinar. I guarantee you, you will not regret it. I'll check again to see if there are any Q&A. So in the chat, I see where Perpetual have actually included the code and the link to this webinar. So let's just quickly review the key takeaways, because this workshop is actually for 45 minutes and I want to respect everyone's time. Key takeaways are, you know, we looked at the evolution of minute writing, the transition from traditional to digital practices. We look at the historical context of and the modern adaptation. We revisited some of the principles of effective minute writing, the importance of legal and ethical consideration. We look at balancing detail and brevity. We looked at capturing the essence of the discussion, which, you know, is one of the foundational pillars of minute writing. We then looked at some modern techniques and tools, the advancement in digital tools and AI, real-time minute writing, the use of multimedia integration and hyperlink integration for enriching minutes. And then we also explore some of the, you know, critical importance of sensitive information and the confidentiality around that. So I'd like to thank you for your active participation in this webinar. I hope you found this webinar insightful, and the information, you know, even if it's just a little bit, you know, it has enhanced your minute writing skills a little bit, and, you know, looking forward for your participation in the upcoming webinar. There is a question that has come in. How important is it for directors to document challenge, especially when addressing management and the chairman during meetings? Are there specific expectations or action directors are supposed to take in such situation? Well, taking minutes is really not the director's responsibility. It's really the responsibility of the minute taker or the secretary, the company secretary. So how important is it for directors to document challenge? It's very important for minute takers to document challenge, because, as I said before, especially if you are a regulated entity, it needs to be proven if the regulators come in to do an investigation, or if the minutes end up in the court, to prove that as a non-exec director or as a director, you actually challenged the executive, or you challenged a point. And challenge here does not necessarily mean on a negative side or being critical, right? Challenge means that you contributed, you asked for clarification, you asked questions, you gave a suggestion to a particular point, especially when it comes on to changing circumstances like changing strategy or remuneration or changing the direction of the business. So it's very important that those are captured. And I have had experiences before where company chairman has said to me that, oh, I don't want to see the name of the individuals in the minutes, and I had to push back and say no. This is a regulated entity, and the UK Corporate Governance Code stipulates that this needs to happen. We need to show challenge. And I've even pulled up cases where directors have been fined because we could not prove challenge for them. Are there specific expectations or actions directors are supposed to take in such circumstances? Yeah, as I said before, if a chairman, if you're a minute taker or a company secretary, and the chairman is insisting on this, or other members of the board are insisting on this, you need to push back, because one of your role as a company secretary is to actually ensure that the board or the meeting remain compliant with the governance regulations or the principles of the regulator that regulates your industry, and these are standard. I would say that you have to show that the directors are challenging certain decisions. And the challenge does not necessarily mean that you have to put RE said. The challenge could be, for example, if there was a robust discussion around a particular subject, you could say there was robust discussion by the directors, and some of the suggestions that came out were X, Y, and Z. Some of the questions that were asked were X, Y, and Z, right? So that also helped capture the essence rather than naming every single person. But sometimes you will find directors on the board who will say, I want this minuted that I made this challenge. And so you have to make that, you have to minute that as well, right? All right, so we're right bang on 45 minutes, and I'm seeing no other questions coming in. Thank you all for your participation. We had 30 people participating in this session today. Amazing. Thank you so much. Wherever you are in the world participating, thank you very much for giving up your 45 minutes to us. And please, everyone, we are going to be dropping a feedback link in the chat. Please, can you take some time to give us your feedback, because we really want to know what we can do to improve these series as we go along for company secretaries. And if you're on LinkedIn, we have a group, a company secretary, a group exclusively for company secretaries on LinkedIn called the Company Secretary Collective. That's the Company Secretary Collective on LinkedIn. Please look it up and join. We post very informative information. It's a place for you to share amongst yourselves. There are some really interesting questions that other COSECs ask in this group from time to time. Until next time, thank you so much once again. And if you ever need any further information about Lumerus, please feel free to reach out to me, romeo.fs@lumerus.com, or visit our website, lumerus.com, or join us on any social media at lumerusplc.com. Thanks, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.